If you've never seen me before, my name is Brianna Dick. I'm the owner of Pack Leader Help Rehabilitation and Training and YourDogBizCoach.com. I've been a professional trainer for 10 years, and I happen to have a business and legal background that I've culminated to help dog trainers build their businesses and just create a life that they actually enjoy and really love. I'm going to get into what I did in order to make 100K in business. That did not happen the first year of business, but it did happen a few years in. I happened to start my business while I was in law school, or kind of before, but after, it doesn't really matter. I was not able to work full time the first few years. I had my business, so my first full year I was able to make a little over 100K, and I want to talk about what skills did I have, what processes did I implement? Basically, what were the qualities or characteristics to my success? This has been implemented again and again and again for my clients who own dog training, dog walking, and dog boarding businesses. My first year I did 100K was 2018, I believe. So this was 6 years ago. And at the time I offered boarding, I was doing board and trains, and I did in-home training. Those were the three services that I offered at the time. But about, I would say, 65% of my revenue came from in-home training. Most of my revenue was coming from in-home training, and I'm going to talk about the differences of the first few years of my business and why I was not making that much money, then why I was able to start having a really high 7, 8, 9K, 11K months, obviously averaging to about $100,000 at the end of that year. There's 3 to 4 of the most important things about your business, particularly as a dog trainer, is number 1, do you have the skills to resolve whatever problem you say that you can solve or resolve or assist with, right? Behavior modification, puppy training, sport dog training, obedience. Do you legitimately have the skills, the knowledge, the comprehension, and the expertise to resolve that? So that is bare bones foundational things that must be there. Number 2 is, do you understand your client? Do you understand their problem? Do you understand how to talk to them? Do you understand how to frame these issues? Because being good with dogs is the bare minimum. You have got, if you really want to have a really healthy, financially secure life and business, you have got to be good at talking to your clients, explaining things, addressing things, and breaking things down. That is 2, is do you understand who your client is, what they need, and how to explain it to them? The third thing is your programs. Are your programs good? Do they meet the client's needs and desires and wants? Are they priced correctly? Because pricing plays such a significant role. Apart from those other things of like baseline, do I have the skills? Do I understand my client and how to articulate things to them? Are my programs and my pricing good? Do they express what they need to express? Do they make people want to work with me? Because I find that with a lot of the clients that I'm working with your dog biz coach, they do not know what programs to choose or why to choose them, or the cadence in which they should be seeing clients, or whether they should be doing packages or board and trains or not doing that. Then obviously undervaluing themselves and usually undercharging. Occasionally I'll have overcharging. That's usually not the case. It is undercharging where people do not know how to properly price themselves. So that first year that I did 100K, I was doing boarding. I did have someone part-time who was helping me with boarding, but their pay rate was not any significant, a few $1,000s, nothing that would be significant in the scheme of things or the assistance that I was offered. It was primarily me. The reason that I don't think I did very well early on, not that I was doing terrible, I would just get one-off sessions, right? I wasn't getting as many clients. I'd have 1 or 2 here and there, but I wasn't able to consistently do it, is because I had no structure in my business. It was, pay a la carte. There's no, no pressure. There's no structure to seeing people at a certain time or a certain amount of days. It was just like, go, as you are, come as you are, do whatever you want. It was a free-for-all. That lack of structure, just like for dogs, led to people not really trusting or knowing what to do, because I didn't really know what to do at the time. I did know what to do, but I was kind of nervous to implement it. A big reason that I was not failing, but not doing as well as I could have been, was just lack of overall structure. There was no clear processes. If somebody canceled, if somebody was paying me late, someone wanted to do half a set, there was just no clear black and white rules or processes in my business in order for the client to feel like it was organized and structured. If your client doesn't feel like things are organized and structured, they're going to trust you less. It's going to look like you don't have your shit together, which maybe you don't. Probably not, right? Because you don't know what to do. They're trusting you as the expert to know, when should I see you? How often should I see you? How long should this be taking? Even though you might not have all of those answers, it's really important that there is a framework to have your clients a part of an ecosystem that your clients can be a part of, where they know, okay, I do 3 sessions with a client. I see them day 1, day 7, day 30, and then after that, I see them once a month for the next 5 months. You can always have flexibility even within this structured framework. I shifted from this all over the place model to there's a framework that I am now bringing clients into, so they know what to expect. They know the trajectory of where this is going to go, and there's always some back and forth feedback and tailoring even within that framework. For me, that was number one, the difference that I changed. I created a cancellation policy. I created a payment policy. I created policies of how frequently I would see someone. The next piece of this was me changing my programs. I was still offering boarding, doing in-home, doing board and train. I started doing maybe a few more board and trains. I think the particular change was the program with in-home. I started not making it a requirement, but when I scheduled people, I started scheduling people in anywhere between 2 and 4 sessions. I stopped allowing the one-off. Why? Not because I just inherently want more money. We did not see good results. And when you don't see good results, you don't get recommendations. And when you don't get recommendations, your business fails. Or you have to pump in a lot of money into marketing in order to get new clients, when really you should just be servicing the ones that are who have already connected and tapped into your business. When you have these one-off sessions, not only does it hurt you, your business, your bottom line, but really it just hurts the dog and the owner. It is very rare that someone would need that one session. They need structure. They need guidance. We should not be flooding clients with a shit ton of information within that first session, which is another reason why I changed it. I was taught that you needed to get a beautiful before and after video in that first session, and that's what's going to bring in clients. That did not resonate with me. It didn't feel right. It didn't look right. Sure, there's things that can be accomplished within that hour and a half or that hour that look a little bit better, but I was so stressed about getting it done within that first session. Clients were overwhelmed. Dog was overwhelmed. Not very good results. What shifted from making X amount of dollars to $100K that year was, I'm going to see you more than once. In fact, I'd like to see you 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Because less is more. I give clients one thing within that first session. Guess what? It's one thing, but they feel insanely confident about it. They feel like they have control over that one thing. And that feeling of feeling good and confident and capable, even though they have not resolved their dog's issues or the concern have not gotten them to their goal, they feel better. And when they feel better, they're going to treat your business better. They're going to want to see you more. They're going to want to tell their friends about you because you made them feel better. Back to the organizing of the business, right? So the first thing I did was organize the business, organize my programs, change those. The other piece was getting an administrative assistant. I was so bogged down and burnt out and disorganized with scheduling. At that point, I was making enough money. $200 a week was not going to make or break me. It was time to get an assistant to help with the scheduling and organization of the administrative. Because when people contact your business, you are already setting the tone for the rest of your relationship with them. It's just like a lot of people say with behavior mod, right when you meet the dog, you are setting the tone of what they can expect, who you are, and what you represent. If you are lackadaisical, if you are copious amounts of attention and a ton of affection and excitement, that is that first meeting with that person or that animal. You set the tone for the relationship. People contact you, you want to make sure that things are organized, that there's a template of some sort, or maybe there's some automation. They know what to expect. The first thing I did was I changed my forms of how people signed up on my website. I changed my website to make sure the copy, meaning the writing on my website, was really, really solid. And this is conversation for a whole nother day about how to write your websites and your social media and your marketing in general to make sure you can articulate why someone should work with you or choose your program. The other piece was, the administrative part of making sure that I had quick access to a template to send out to a client. You should not be handwriting every single email. If you are, you're wasting your time, you're losing money. I promise you it will not make you happy and it's going to create burnout. You need something quickly there that you can, now my templates are tailored. They have the client's name and the dog's name in it. I have different templates depending on why someone is reaching out to me, whether it's like dog aggression or human aggression or puppy basics or just maybe some reactivity. All of those things have templates for it. So it doesn't mean you have to be cookie cutter, everybody gets the same thing. Essentially, what this big shift into making more money, into making over 100K a year, has to do with these small things that create efficiency in the business, and it also looks good for the client. They fill out a form, they quickly get an email kind of related to what they put in it, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is tailored to me, this makes me feel better, this makes me feel seen. Making your clients feel seen, feel good, feel understood is one of the biggest keys to success, like I mentioned earlier. All of these steps that I was doing have to do with, am I making my client feel good? Do they feel like there is a path that they can follow? They know what to expect. Even within those templates, I started writing out, here's what we're going to do briefly in the first session. Hey, we're going to talk about stuff and then get into hands-on. And then here's when payment is due. And I just made it more structured for them. So there wasn't this sort of laissez-faire energy about working with me. Like they had no idea what to expect. Finally, changed my pricing. I had to up my pricing. I was charging, to give you an idea, I went from $75 an hour to $150. And you're like, well, if you weren't getting that many at 75, how the heck did you get more at 150? That has to do with consumer psychology. Everybody has a price point that they feel confident and comfortable, and they've done many studies on this. One of the studies, actually, a case study that we talk about a lot in business school, was an eyeglass company who made sunglasses, and they made bamboo sunglasses for super cheap. It was great for the environment. They were able to make them for super cheap, so they sold them for super cheap. Nobody bought them. They started selling the product for, I think, 500% more. I went from like $14 to like $100, something like that. Don't argue with me about math. And then they started to make immense amounts of money. Why? Because every client, every customer has a trustworthy price point. Someone's saying, hey, I'm going to sell you a 2020 BMW for $1,500. You're not going to buy that probably. If you are, we need to have a conversation because you shouldn't trust that price point, right? So when I was undercharging, people are like, that's probably a sketchy person who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. That wasn't true. So I needed to price myself in comparison or in parallel to the other trainers in the area who are offering similar services. For me, I jumped from 75 to 150, and all of these things that I did these were the top 3 reasons that I was able to start making over $100,000 a year. I say me, but it's not anecdotal. These things are applied time and time again to clients that I work with and that other business coaches work with. These systems that we have in place, knowing our client, knowing how to tell our clients that we know what we're doing, having good programs and having good pricing. These are the foundational skills or systems that you need in order to create a really high revenue business and a really profitable business. If you're like, I don't know where to start, I need some support, I am very confused as to what I should be focusing on, let me help you. That's why I offer one-on-one coaching. I also have online programs specifically for dog trainers. I also do free events every Tuesday night, Zoom events, where we just talk dog stuff and things that we're working on. I have free resources on my website, blogs, podcasts, and Instagram. Let me help you. You do not need to struggle, whether it's financially, emotionally, or maybe you just want to get to a different level in your business. I've got your back, yourdogbizcoach.com. I'll talk to you guys soon.